community, we want to improve health, but sometimes we challenge to know where we can get masses. We can get the masses from community centers, like in the markets. You can organize once in a while. Of course, you need to motivate them so that they come together. Otherwise, when you go there thinking, you come and I tell you about HIV, who will come there? No one, because that's not their first priority. But sometimes when you tell them that we have talked to when you go with one of their leaders, you've involved their leaders, and you want to bring something forward to them, including working on their problems about the reason the rent they are paying, they will be there. Then you use that opportunity. You go with the politicians. You go with their church leaders if you know they are interested in some specific dominion. Go with the church leaders. They will come. So the community centers, the schools, and education institutions, cervical cancer, like some doctors talked about, cervical cancer is doing a lot of harm to the population. We might know, we might have ever heard about it, that cervical cancer is there, but do you have the information about it? Let's go to the schools and tell these children that, you know what, cervical cancer comes from HPV. Someone can think about HPV and think, where am I going to get that? HPV comes from multiple partners. If you have a husband who has more than one wife, and from the more high incident place, for example, I used to be in Mubenda and we used to have so many incidences of penile cancer, cancer of the penis, cervical cancer, and we used to amputate because you know how psychologically it can disturb a man when you have taken away the other gadget which he uses. So by you doing that and targeting your hospital and telling them we have done this because we have multiple partners, and each of them you are moving HPV from here, you're taking it there, and to the other person also, is a risk. So these young girls, when you tell them that you have these men, you love these men who are older than you, but they have their wives, and those wives are also having other partners, it's a chain. So when for you get HPV, you are at risk because your body is now active. You're going to get HPV. You target them, they will listen more than the market people. Don't you think so? They will listen. So health facilities, I've told you, if you go to the hospital, if you need to pass, if you see that there is a challenge, everyone is coming, like there is a gentleman I found like 2 weeks ago who was telling me that at their place, almost all children, young children are urinating blood. Can you imagine? We're like, that's a common disease to our place. And we were, by the time I got to know, because I had brought a son to the hospital, a son who had renal failure. The kidneys were failing because of malaria. This usual malaria, who knows that malaria kills the kidneys? We only know malaria is the leading cause of death in Uganda, death, malaria. But you know, how does it cause death? And some people end up with chronic kidney diseases because of malaria. So if you come to the hospital and you tell them, you see this malaria, this side is more prevalent, and most of them are coming with passing blood in urine. The government and the people, when they see such people from such kind of place, they think of malaria first. So the hospitals, religious institutions, we all know that everyone will listen if, let's say, Pope comes, even if you are not Catholic, but the Pope might respect it. Or if it's a Muslim and a Mufti is here, we might, whatever he talks carries more sense. You find it on the media. So religious institutions and their leaders, we need to also involve them if you want to do an effective community teaching. Of course, local government buildings, including the parliament itself. Sometimes we had COVID, and you see most of the ministers and everyone was interested in knowing what is happening from the parliament. So after going to the community, evaluate that site. Is it suitable for what you want to teach? Is it not every topic you are going to talk is suitable to a given place? Don't even talk about alcohol, the good things from alcohol, because alcohol is both productive, beneficial, and also toxic, depending on the dose you take in. If you're taking moderate alcohol, you are not at risk of getting cardiovascular diseases. This is protecting you. But when you take excess, then again you have the risk increases. It takes a U-turn. Okay? So if you are telling a Muslim the benefits of alcohol, they will chase you before even you say anything. So ensure that the site is favorable. If you can also reach it, you want to go to the parliament, but can you reach there? No. So the facilities they have, do they have electricity? You want everyone to know? Do they have a TV? You want to tell someone deep in Karamajong area that they need to, what they need to eat? They need to eat Irish. What? Do they have televisions? Do they have electricity? Are you sure it is going to be effective to them? No. So the reputation and the relationship you have with them. So you cannot, if you go there as me, Dr. Utaya, and telling those people from Karamoja region, a few might listen. But if I go with their local leader, or plus their local MP, they will listen. So you get people who have good reputation. Work with them if you want to make an impact. So we have already talked about the leaders and the role models. You need to involve them. It's a win-win situation. Some of them will call you when they are going to stand as MPs. They will be like, we need some health team to come. So use that opportunity to pass that important knowledge you want. Always don't leave them behind. And of course, after gathering, you also involve the people you want the message to go to. Those local people, you ask them, what do you know about diabetes? They ask, sukari, haha. I think sukari, you don't need to eat. If you eat a lot of sugar canes, if you eat muhogo, what these things, you are going to get diabetes. They might be having some kind of knowledge, but is it really true? That's the knowledge. So when you get the information, you really understand that there is a learn. So you might even find some of them diabetic already. You ask them, what do you think you need to eat? They tell you, I am told from Karamoja, I am told, don't eat matoke, don't eat Irish. Oh no, don't eat matoke, don't eat posho. I need to eat Irish. But it's in Karamoja region, we have Irish growing there. Do you want this patient to die? Because they will do it for a week, they have nothing to eat. You tell them don't eat meat, don't eat kalo. So what do you want them to eat? Don't eat meat. And that's what is available. So you want them to die of hunger rather than dying of the disease. You have to weigh the risk and the benefit. If you have good information about, you go to the ground, you see what usually they can easily avail to themselves, you can actually work, the nutritionist. So don't just come with generalized information. Don't eat this, you're going to cause more trouble. Yes, so those several people will give you information, then after you evaluate the information and you really see, do you need really to continue with that topic that you wanted to talk about, or you need to change. You might even find that you found a very big gap yourself by going to the community that you need to change and come up with better strategies. Okay. So after doing all that, gathering the information, you need to make a formal communication. I think we are all here because we have the formal communication, the director knows and the government knows, because we are many people, as in no one can come and cause any trouble to the session right now because we made the formal communication. So you need to make formal communication written and using the proper channels, the right persons, if you want your communication to be effective. If they find you talking about family planning to some people or family promotion, in school we are telling those children that, you know what, if you want to get a male child, this is what you have to do. This is how to use the safe days. Everyone will think, in order. Are we understanding that? You might even be arrested. What do you want to do to our children? So proper channels and proper documentation. You discuss what you think you need to do and better strategy. So you need also to build better relationships with the people you are going to discuss with. Don't come and be like, me, I want you to know about BPH, prostate enlargement, because it's now disturbing men. Are you understanding that? You come and tell the men that their prostate are going to get sick, yet you are not empathetic, you are going to die. If you don't listen to me, it's up to you. That's not a good communication way. You have to be empathetic and respectful. If they say, no, for us we think the problem here, we have jiggers, and for you, we don't have money. For you want to tell us about HIV, we know. You want to tell us how to use a smile condom, what? No, that's not our thing. We have to produce. I have nothing to do. I need, So you handle their first problems before you come to, it's like the physiological needs. If someone doesn't have food, they will not listen to whatever you're telling you. If any of you came here with, probably those who are still renting, when the landlord came and knocked at your door, we might be just seeing a body here. So whatever we are talking might not be helping you. So we need to first address that, make your mind a little bit okay, with different ways in communication. You might need to make it more interesting. You might need some breaks. You might need entertainment. You involve the musicians so that they dance off the stress. Then you come and tell them what so-called nonsense after when they are doing well upward. So, of course, we talked about you have to approach the community. You must have focused group discussion with the people on the ground. Those low people who are going to consume. You will find funny stories. When you go and ask someone, but do you use any family planning? You will get shocked if you go to some places. Someone will be like, but that is killing. I'm killing my babies. You demonstrate to them how they use these contract condom, for example, because everyone knows that. You demonstrate that after this, that's how you remove them. They will ask funny things. Now my children will be there. You people, don't you feel empathetic? You understand? So you really understand that the gap is big, or I need to use another strategy. So, but also you need to know the resources that you have. If you are planning to use maybe it's an organization and you want to tell them about something and you want to use WhatsApp, most of them have cartouches, they cannot afford, they don't even have electricity. So, identify your resources that you have that are going to help you. You want to tell them about some X-Lab. They cannot even imagine about a wound. So you need to have mannequins at least. Can you get a mannequin? If you don't have, can you make a wooden one? Can someone make for you, maybe from clay? And depending. So what resources do you have? Okay, on ground matters. So the resources can be individuals. If these people are not listening, you involve some of the individuals you have. The VHTs are there on ground. Whatever you want to talk about, cervical cancer, if these people are not listening, involve the VHT, village health teams. Okay? You can also, different people, they could be resources. So you identify the resources you have, and that's what you use. And you should know when you are telling people in communication, the more you tell them about words, the more they forget. So you need to use visual pictures. In that whatever they see, they remember. But whatever they hear can pass through. They can look. You can see them looking at you, but they are not getting anything. Or a few. But when you show them models and demonstrate to them, and ask them to demonstrate, you get their attention. So it has to be learner-based. You ask them, what do you think you know? Can you demonstrate for me this question first? Then you get their response. Then you judge. Okay? So that takes us to the communication. Of course, we need to exchange. Communication is important. That's why we are all here. We know communication, but is it effective communication? Communication can be like the way I'm talking a lot of words, but you are also communicating to me right now by the way you are looking at me. Some of you, as if you are understanding a lot, but after a minute you see someone knows you. You understand? So it is showing you that this person is bored. He's bored. So that kind of communication you read from the people as you look at them. You're talking, but some of them are putting their heads down, others are yawning. Hey! So what do you get? That kind of communication is intrapersonal. It's inside, but it is very important to give you a message of what they are getting from you. So if you focus on the verbal communication, which is talking and writing, and also the non-verbal communication cues, which are the symbols. If you find everyone, it's a warm afternoon, like the place is warm, and most of the people are lying they are lying there on their things, others are putting some discussions, and for you are continuing to present with them, doesn't make sense. Whatever you're speaking doesn't carry sense. So always have that kind of feedback from your people when you are communicating. Sometimes when you are communicating to them, it's you who bore them, because you are using the same tone. You're not moving. You are like in one place. Are we together? You are in one place, and you're just like as if you are reading news. You don't have any kind of posture. You're not moving to show control to them, to show that you are engaged in them. Sometimes you even choose a speaker who stammers, someone who takes a lot of time to deliver information. Of course, they will get bored. So such kind of things you need to get. If you want to communicate something very important, you get a best speaker, someone with a very good voice, not coarse ones. So such kind of things, and also getting feedback from them by sometimes asking them and getting their feedback, what they have heard from you, what they know already. You build on what they know. Learner based. So these are the reasons why you communicate. And in communication, you can pass on information, make decisions. So we can even make our relationships mature. Most of our marriages are dying because of communication. You see, today the husband has come back very late in the night, at midnight. But in the moment he comes, you are still now shouting at him. Now you thought he would not come back. I thought we were going to sleep there. So do you think that person can change? At least try to change. If you used that approach yesterday, this time around you change the approach. Now you come with a mini skirt. When he's coming, you hug him and tighten and see if something can change. If that one has not worked, you go to the church the following day. You keep on changing because of the feedback you see. If you go to church and he's now not even coming back, he's coming back the following day, you can try witchcraft also. It can work. So, in communication, we can pursue this. We have already talked about the verbal communication, the non-verbal communication, the gestures, the symbols. Understand them because they vary from different cultures. You can go to the Indians and you're asking them, have you understood? And they're like, so like, hey, I have talked. You get, because that's their gesture for showing that they are understanding. So if you don't understand the different ways people do their things, you might get misinformed.